Okay, good evening, everybody. If you can hear me and you can see me clearly, just drop a yes in the chat box below so we know that you can hear me, you can see me. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so welcome to today's webinar. Proudly, hosted by Regent and myself. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Davron. I'm a chartered accountant, business owner, and I've been, given the opportunity to speak to the prospective CAs of today. And there's a lot of you that are prospective CAs on today's call, be it you from school or you just finished school or you currently in the process of becoming a CA. I'm really excited to share my experience. I'm really excited to share the understanding of what the profession is all about. And we're going to explore the journey of becoming a chartered accountant, why it's such an incredible career choice, and how Regent's program can help you achieve your dreams, not just today, but into your future as well. So now, if I go too fast, okay, in certain sections, sometimes I do go a little bit too fast, and maybe you have a question that you need further clarity on. We'll be having a short Q&A session at the end, and if I don't know the answer to your question, there's always a Regent support staff in the chat box that you can drop your question to. They'll be more than happy to answer your question. So we're going to kick this call off. I'm going to quickly share my screen, and then we're going to jump straight into it. Just give me 1 second. Okay, my screen is shared. So welcome everyone. As I said, my name is Davron. Today we're going to speak about your path to actually becoming a chartered accountant in South Africa. I'm going to dive a little bit into my story. There's, different parts of the webinar today. I'm going to take you through the process of becoming a CA, what you need to study, how you're actually going to get the qualification, some of my, experiences that I've learned along the way. And I've been doing this now. This is my 13th year of being, as a chartered accountant in practice. Let's take it all the way back, right? So started off in high school. So again, I said this, if there's a lot of different people on this call right now. So you in school, you in university, some of you are, in PGDA already, and you just want to learn about, what's the different, methods of articles and stuff like that. So again, bear with us as we go through this journey. There's a lot of people from different walks of life, and that's what I love about this, right? So I started off in high school. I knew I wanted to be a chartered accountant. I know it's crazy. Commerce, that's what I studied in high school. I did, economics, I did business economics, and I did accounting. So that is what I focused on. I was fortunate enough, my dad is a, commerce teacher. So I knew I was programmed and positioned in that way to realize, hey, that's where the skill set lies. And that's my ability. So went on, did my BCom accounting at UKZN, and then did my PGDA in UNISA, which was distance. And we'll chat about the difference between distance learning and full-time learning. And I did my articles at PKF Durban. We're going to chat about what articles is and how articles works. So did my articles at PKF Durban, went into corporate, became, 4 years at Deloitte, was, the FM and CFO in private equity, and now business owner, okay, of my own chartered accounting practice. So you might see this journey of what you see on the screen right now, but it has been a long and hard journey to get here. But would I change it for anything in the world? No, right? There's been challenges in this journey that were actually blessings, and certain of them was not passing my PGDA the first time. And some of you probably like, hey, how can that actually be a blessing? Not passing your honors or not passing your PGDA. It's because it shapes you and it makes you resilient and it gives you the grit and it gives you the determination to keep going. I chat to so many people on social media every day and they're like, I'm struggling with, tax 3, or I'm struggling with third year accounting. I'm struggling with honors accounting. I keep failing. And it's normal. So if you're on this call and you see your fellow CAs out there in the world you see the CASA designation behind their name or after their name, but I want you to know each and every one of those individuals had some sort of struggle. They failed at something. They wrote supplementary exams in something. So yes, it's all rosy at the end of the journey, but what you need to understand is we go through things. Another big blessing is not doing articles at Big Four. And we'll chat about that controversial topic, but a lot of people say, hey, Big Four is amazing. I've worked at it. I worked at Deloitte, I worked at PwC, and I worked at, a mid-tier firm like PKF. And they all have their pros, they all have their cons, but one of my biggest blessings has been, not doing articles at a Big Four. So why am I so passionate about the profession? A very personal question to me. The CASA designation is obviously the highest form of qualification in the finance world. Being in business, when you introduce yourself as a chartered accountant, you immediately get a certain level of respect, right? You build a level of resilience and, as I said, personal growth from the studying aspect to the articles aspect. And you actually do things that actually matter in this business world. You help business owners grow the main part of the business, which is money, right? So a lot of people, they go through life and they can't understand, why they're actually doing the job that they're doing. And when you figure that out, that no longer becomes a job. It becomes sort of like your purpose, your calling, your passion. And when that starts to take over, you start doing this not for the money, but just simply because this is what you were born and really good at doing. Not a lot of people are good at doing it. Okay. And when you do find that this is your niche and this is where you thrive at, you like accounting, you like auditing, you like tax, you like numbers, you like working with people, you like the opportunities that this brings to you, then this might be something for you. Okay. And that's why we're here today. So I always like this quote, becoming a CASA is like building a skyscraper. It takes time, it takes effort, a solid foundation, but the view from the top is worth it. Okay. So we're going to dive in now into like the meat and bones of the webinar, which you've all been waiting for. That's just an introduction of who I am. You got a little bit of my history, you got a little bit of my understanding. But why choose the CASA part? Because a lot of you are sitting there because, I chatted to the Regent guys, and I chatted to a lot of people on social media, and it's a lot of different people that are finishing school and they don't know where the CASA program is for them. There's guys that are currently doing first year, second year, or third year, and they don't know if they want to continue this long journey. And I'm here today to show you why to choose this journey, right? So the first one is global recognition. So being a chartered accountant, it opens up avenues into the world that most professions cannot. If you are someone who wants to move to London, you have a dream of working in New York City, Australia, becoming a CA has been the ticket to these life dreams for so many individuals. I have friends that are currently in the UK. I have friends that are currently in the US. I have friends that are currently in Australia, all chartered accountants, all working overseas, all had the dream of, working in these countries overseas, right? So it's very difficult if you leave campus and you don't pursue a professional career and try and move overseas. But because the chartered accountant qualification is so renowned globally, okay, I want to reiterate that it is a global recognition. SICA and the CASA program, it is a globally recognized program. And that is why when you apply for work overseas and you apply to, become an auditor overseas, they take it very seriously, especially chartered accountants from South Africa, right? They take it very seriously. So they have this secondment program, which no other place has, which is, given to you at the end of your third year. And we'll chat about what your first year, second year, third year looks like, which is your articles. But at the end of your third year, they have something called a secondment program. It's just basically a trial of how life is overseas. You get an opportunity to go and work in your neighboring or your network company. if I'd like to call it that. So it's a network company. So for example, if you're at Deloitte in Durban and you want to go and work in San Francisco, you'll just get a secondment program from Deloitte San Francisco to take you over for a 3 to 4 month secondment during busy period. It's generally around the end of your training contract, which is between your training contract runs Jan to December, but usually at the end of it, so December to, let's say, March, you'll work on the secondment program. Again, this is another reason why to choose the CASA program, because it gives you access to this sort of opportunities. Maybe working overseas is not for you. You don't want to pack up your entire life. You don't know how it's going to be, in those countries. The secondment program says, hey, trial it out 3 months, 4 months, whatever the case may be. Go live in that country, see if you like it. If you don't like it, come back to South Africa and continue working. You know how it is to go overseas, right? So something to think about, something to actually, understand is that program. And it's given to 99% of, the big client of the big article firms in South Africa today. So the next reason is the diverse career opportunities that having the CASA next to your name gives you. And you hold a qualification that opens up doors to a very wide range of industries and roles. I swear, if you look at the class that you finish off with in articles and you look at the different career paths that everyone has taken, no two people are very similar. They're all doing completely different things, from auditing so auditing is basically, if you don't understand what auditing is, it's what you do in your articles. You basically audit companies out there. You work for an audit firm. So Deloitte, PwC, EY, KPMG, BDO, Grant Thornton, PKF, these are all audit firms. And what you're going to do is you're going to work for these audit firms, which is your articles, and you can stay on after your articles to become an auditor. You become an audit manager, senior audit manager, and you can eventually become a partner at that audit firm. So you can stay in auditing. You can leave auditing once you're done and become a financial manager, which is, you have the pathway to be a financial manager, senior financial manager, be a CFO, work for private company, work for JSE listed companies. The world is your oyster in that sphere, right? Then you have something that you get opened up to, which is called consulting. And this is where you advise businesses on strategy, risk management, tax, financial growth. Because again, in crux of the business that we learn in our modules, it is everything to do with business, from strategy, risk management, tax, financial growth, accounting, auditing, management accounting, everything. So when you become a consultant and you work in the consulting practices of the firms, that is where you get an opportunity to say, hey, I might not like auditing. I might not want to work as a financial manager or a CFO, but I like consulting. I like doing mergers and acquisitions. I like doing transfer pricing calculations. I like doing taxation, VAT calculations. I like doing projections and working with, JSE listed companies on risk management, stuff like that. And then we have investment banking. So a lot of people are like, how do we become investment bankers? This is the way you become an investment banker. Once you finish off your CASA program, you start working at the bank. You can specialize in investment banking in the research part, in the research department of, FNB, RMB, ABSA, Nedbank, whichever bank that you want, and you can become an investment banker, right? You can also go a step further and say, hey, I want to be work in academia. And lecturer, you work in a specialty, you can do research projects in the universities like this, like Regent. They have chartered accountants that are working at Regent right now, and they did the same exact process and journey that we're speaking about today. And they said, hey, I want to go into academia because maybe they want to give back to you, the students of the future, right? So that is another path that you can take. And then you can also become an entrepreneur. Okay. There's no other profession out there. Maybe lawyers, maybe engineers if you have consulting on the side, but a chartered accountant gives you the opportunity to launch your own practice into the world. And it's something that, funny enough, I was speaking to my dad yesterday about. It's a qualification and it's a skill set that you can never replace with, yes, AI might assist you, but it's a qualification that AI can never take away. Purely because you will always need human intervention in understanding the financial statements and drafting it and auditing it and trying to mitigate risks, stuff like that. Yes, you might use AI, but you always need humans involved, and you'll always need that personal touch when you're running a practice and when you're dealing with clients. So again, I took about 3 of these paths in my career. So I'm on my fourth one. I'm in the entrepreneurship journey right now. So again, the world is your oyster when you have this qualification behind your name, right? Um, and the next reason, prestige. Having the chartered accountant, CASA after your name is like carrying a passport to professional respect. It's universally recognized and trusted. And I keep saying that because it really and truly is. I've been on calls with people in the USA, and the USA's equivalent is a CPA. It's not as difficult as how we have it, but when they understand how difficult ours is, they have a huge level of respect for us, right? And finally, it's the financial rewards, which most people only speak about. So CAs are amongst the most sought after professionals in the financial and business world. So this demand translates into competitive starting salaries. Often these exceed a lot of other professions out there. So ever since COVID, though, you also have the ability to work remotely in South Africa for companies all over the world and earn in USD and GBP, which is the pound. So again, you are allowed to dictate how much you make, how much you can actually earn. Yes, in the different provinces in South Africa, there's different amounts of money that you can earn, but it is far greater than any other profession out there that is in the finance field, right? So let's chat about the journey to becoming a chartered accountant. And I think that's why we're all here today, to understand what the journey is. So we've touched on why you should care and why you should follow this path, and now the journey of becoming a chartered accountant. So you start off, yes, you finish your matric, and that's all well and great. And then you start off your undergrad and your postgraduate qualification. So the first one would be your undergrad, and that would be the Bachelor of Commerce in Accounting degree. And that is a 3-year program. Okay. While you're looking for universities, and I know you all are in contact with someone at Regent, but if you are, on the fence, I want you to look at something that's really, really key when you're dealing or when you're looking for universities is a SAICA accredited university. Not a lot of universities are SAICA accredited. Regent is SAICA accredited. So again, to become SAICA accredited is really difficult, guys. It is a lot of, check boxes you've got to tick. There's a lot of, procedures you've got to follow. So to get the SAICA accreditation is very key. And how it's structured is year 1, year 2, and year 3. Year 1, you have semester modules, and then you have some annual modules, which are basically your yearly modules. So your financial accounting 1, your economics 1, these are yearly modules. And then your semester modules, as you can see in your first year, business mathematics, which is, your 101 maths, business stats, which is statistics. You have digital literacy 101, 101 and 102, business management 101, 102, business communications 101, and com law, right? 102. Going through this, I couldn't understand why we did half of these, but now while you are out in the world and you're working, you understand why you need to know about, commercial law and why you need to know about mathematics and stuff like that. So hopping into second year, okay, so that's first year. Second year modules, very similar. So you do management accounting and finance 2, which is your yearly module. And then you do financial accounting 2, which is also a yearly module. And then your semester modules are basically ethics 202, accounting information systems 201, 202, corporate law 201, taxation 201, and auditing 202, right? And then third year, which they call the big 4, okay? They always call this the big 4 because this is probably the most difficult year in your 3 years, is your management accounting and finance, your financial accounting, taxation, and auditing 3. Those are the 4 modules that you'll do in your third year. And once you pass that, you basically open yourself up to your postgraduate qualification. Now, again, your undergrad, you could either do your undergrad as, full-time, or you can do it as distance learning. So distance learning is basically you working and you studying, right? So you either got a job or you actually just doing it part-time and you stay, or you working, or you doing it completely from home, right? Or you're doing it completely full-time. Same with the postgraduate diploma in accounting, again, which is known as, your PGDA. Regent's PGDA has been accredited with CICA for a number of years already. So again, this is your stepping stone into your articles years. There are article programs that allows you to do your PGDA and do articles at the same time. Now, that is the reason why Regent allows you to do this as a distance learning program. Okay, so people that actually want to start work, because remember, guys, you've already studied for like 3 years and you want to start working, you want to start earning money. So some people say, hey, I need to start earning money now. So they start their articles and they need to complete their honors and they need to complete their postgraduate diploma. So that's how it's structured. I did mine completely part-time as well, and we'll go into that as well. So how's the course structured and the modules? So basically, it's third year times just double the difficulty, right? So advanced financial accounting, advanced auditing, advanced taxation, and advanced management accounting. So basically, that is what it is. It's exactly the same modules as your third year, but in a fourth year program. Okay, so just to reiterate, the postgraduate diploma in accounting is a 1 year program, right? It's 1 year that allows students to learn while working. So it's a distance learning program. It provides busy students with a perfect balance between work and studies. So we're leaving honors or we're leaving postgraduate diploma and we're starting our articles. Now, what is your articles? So in theory, your articles is your internship. It's where you learn everything. And this is where your theory actually meets practice. It's 3 years of articles. So first year, second year, and third year. The companies you can apply for articles at, these are just some of them. There's so many out there. But the top ones are Deloitte, PwC, EY, PKF, BDO, GTSNG, KPMG, and again, many other audit firms out there. So if you're looking at understanding which ones to look at and you want to apply for graduate programs, these are the ones you actually should look at, right? While you're doing your articles, you need to write 2 board exams. So your 2 board exams, you have board 1, which is your ITC, which is your initial test of competence. That's at January and June each year. Okay. Board 1 is again, so third year is your management accounting, auditing, taxation, and accounting 3. Fourth year, exactly the same, but 4. I would say board 1 is those 4 subjects times 5, right? It's just like 50 of that. That's what's board 1. Board 2 is your APC, which is your assessment of professional competence. And usually it's done at the end of your third year. And the reason why it's for competency basis, they give you a very scenario-based exam. So they give you a real life scenario and they say, hey, here's a scenario, here's a company, here's the problems of the company, here's the issues that it's facing, here's the fraud we've picked up, here's internal audit departments, a whole lot of stuff. And you need to go out there and you need to actually answer this in a real life setting and a real life scenario and situation, right? So basically that's done once a year, November, December each year. Okay, these are all CICA accredited exams. So meaning these are all set by CICA, right? So once you leave Regent, you leave, third year, you finish Regent's fourth year, you then go on to your articles, you're now writing CICA exams, right? And once you finish that, once you finish your CICA board exams, it's when you actually turn that into your CICA membership. And this is where you pay your annual fees. So if you don't know, you pay about 10 grand in annual fees every year just to be a CICA member. Okay. And then you do something called CPD, which is continuous professional development, right? So again, I say this to everyone, the learning and development never stops because every year to maintain your CASA designation, you've got to, yes, pay your fees, but you've also got to do a certain amount of studying for the year in taxation, in auditing, in accounting, in management accounting, in ethics, in a couple of the fields, and you've got to accrue all these hours and you've got to submit that to CICA every year. But the cool thing is it keeps you relevant in the market. That's why you will never die down as long as you're a CA. You'll always have your finger on the pulse. You'll always understand what's going on in the world. You'll always be relevant and you'll always be needed, right? So we're going to chat about, so we spoke about the route and the journey of being a CA. So I hope you guys understand that. And I hope you understand the different modules that Regent has given you access to. So your psych-accredited programs with Regent, and then your postgraduate diploma with Regent, right? And then you move on to your articles and then your sign off. But a lot of you have messaged me and you're like, I'm in varsity currently and I'm having challenges and I don't know how to overcome them. And some of you don't even understand what the challenges might be because you just finished matric and you're looking at getting into the program and you want to understand what is this all about and how can you actually get some tips and tricks of, just overcoming this journey of being a CA. Um, a few of these topics are personal to me, as in these are what my challenges were. They might not be your challenges, but if they are, I come across them and you do come across them in your journey, maybe you'll take a leaf out of it, maybe you'll learn something from it. So there's a rigorous academic schedule. That's the first thing. Let's be honest, balancing studies, personal life is exhausting, especially if you're doing this part-time and you're working full-time. There are deadlines, exams, assessments, and then your whole life itself. It's demanding, but it's not impossible, right? So the first tip that I'll give you is time management. And everyone speaks about time management, but you've got to prioritize your tasks. I used to have this planner. It was a desk pad, right? And it was huge. It was massive. It fitted my whole desk. And I planned my life on this desk pad from what I'm studying for the day, what I'm studying per hour, breaking it down to hitting each goal and understanding how it works. If you have that sort of methodical thinking and the way you prioritize your day, so if you know, okay, cool, I'm going to work, put that 8 hours out of the way, what am I doing after work? And you plan it out, you can literally hit your goals down, right? So there's digital tools out there, but back in the day, there was no digital tools when we were studying. So again, you could do that. You break down big tasks into smaller, manageable steps. Remember, it's about progress. It's not perfection. That is all that matters. You're going to take this monster of a CASA journey and you've got to break it down into, okay, it's my first year, it's my first module, it's my first assessment, it's my first module in terms of that assessment. What do I need to study? And that's how you do it. You chip away at this huge thing and eventually you get it done, right? So another thing was how to balance working full-time and studying. So I did this. I worked full-time and I studied. I did my honors part-time in the evenings. And what I found worked, if you are going to be doing this. So if you're in your third year and you're looking to join Regent's postgraduate diploma part-time, and you're going to go do your articles or you're working somewhere else, while you're doing your post-grad, what I did was I studied after work. So I would work, but I would study after work at work. Reason being is by the time you get home, your comfort zone hits you the moment you walk through that door, right? Your house, your familiarity, the food is on the stove, the TV is on, everything is very comfortable. So you tend to not want to study. But when you stay at work and you say, okay, cool, I'm going to stay at work, I clock off at work, but I'm staying here and I'm going to study here for about an hour and a half to 2 hours after work and then go home. That was honestly the key to success for me. It might not be for you, but for me, that was the key to success. And the reason being is I didn't want to sit in traffic going home because, knocking off at 4:30 or 5 o'clock, it'll take me an hour to get home. So why must I sit in the hour of traffic when I could just turn that hour into study time and then leave later and be home in like 15 minutes? Okay. So that was one of the tips that I have for you if you're looking to do the postgraduate diploma part-time or the third year degree part-time and you want to work full-time. So that is a tip, study after work at work. Okay. The next thing I want to chat about is stress and burnout. So we've all been there, staring at this mountain of work. It just feels like there's no way to actually climb it. And that's why I love this program and I love the system and support structure that is just focused on coaching and student support that Regent actually offers and has implemented. I was going through their brochures and I was going through their stuff online as well as chatting to a lot of people that are in the accounting department. I spoke to actually the lady that's actually heading up the accounting department today. And, they've implemented such great systems and support tools for students. And the level of care that they have implemented, or the level of care that they have, is something that we didn't have, in the UK. I'm not bashing UKZN or UNISA, but it's something that we didn't get. We didn't get a level of care where they said, I just want these students to do well, and I just want these students to pass because they have that level of care, right? So Regent has also helps you leverage academic resources through their portal. They allow you to connect with your peer networks, and they have a mentorship program when you need to seek guidance. So again, a huge factor of stress and burnout, okay, is the fact that you don't have support, and you don't have guidance, and you don't have mentorship, and you don't have lecturers that care about you. So when you have that with Regent Business School, you kind of have that already sorted out. Okay, this is already going to be taken care of. So the stress and burnout element is already done. It's a very big part of studying. It's a very big part of the academic process. And it's something you need to think about. I would tell you, where I did my distance learning, there was no support structure. There was no systems in place. It was very, very unorganized, if you would call it. And it was very difficult, right? And that's why when I looked at this program and I saw that they have all of the stuff in place and they have the mentorship programs in place, I was like, cool, this is, light years ahead of what we had, in our third year and our fourth year as well. So moving on, we're going to go to practical experience, right? So the classroom and the workplace can feel like two different worlds. The key here is your mindset. Articles, and I'll reiterate this, articles is the hardest 3 years of your entire career. I personally, right now, I'm in business. Those 3 years are harder than being in business. But those 3 years will shape you and shape your life. So again, if you're in varsity already, or if you're in PGDA, or you're looking at going into articles, or if you're in articles, because I know there are people in articles that are on this call. If you are in articles and you are struggling and you are going through the mill, just go through it. It is, trust me, that is the worst it's going to get. Like, that is the worst it's going to get, right? So we're going to chat now about, why Regents programs are a great starting point. I spoke about this extensively as we're going through the call. I spoke about, the different programs, but why is their program a great starting point for you in your career today? So firstly, accreditation. You've got to look at accreditation. Psycho-accredited programs, they ensure a very solid foundation. So you've got to look at programs that are psycho-accredited and endorsed by the CASA academic provider. And that is already a tick box for Regent, right? They have a comprehensive curriculum that prepares students for both exams and real-world challenges. So you don't want to have a program that is only structured around just examination, theory, where there's no practical coming out there. So because the chartered accountants are working at Regent, so it's a huge thing. Chartered accountants are working in Regent. Why is that a huge thing? It's because chartered accountants understand what you learn to become a chartered accountant, to become a successful chartered accountant. So because they are setting your course curriculum, they are setting your programs, they're setting your assessments, they are lecturing you, okay? Chartered accountants are doing all of this. You are prepared for not only just the theory, but you're also prepared for the real world. So they'll be teaching you about things that you're going to be facing in articles, like in your auditing environment, when you're dealing with taxation. They will give you real life tax examples, stuff like that, not just theory and book-based stuff, right? So very big difference in other universities where they don't have CAs that are doing the lectures. They don't have CAs that are writing the course material, or they don't have CAs that are involved in the program, versus here where there are CAs, and they are sharp CAs. They're very, intelligent and smart CAs that are involved in this program. The next one is academic. So student support systems. So we'll chat about student support systems, academic resources. So online libraries, study guides, workshops, all of that is provided to you as a Regent student, right? A big thing for me is mentorship. You get access to experienced professionals. So I've said this over and over and over again on this webinar. the experience that these guys have, and they are your mentors and your lecturers and your course coordinators and your heads of the departments, they have the experience so that when you walk into their office or you drop them an email or you chat to them on the portal, you have access to these experienced individuals. Okay. So they will be able to answer any of your questions, be able to guide you in not only your work, but hey, maybe you have a question of, hey, I'm finishing off my PGDA this year. Which one of these article firms would you recommend me to join? Or I've got a training contract here and this is what they're offering me. Which one? It's a lot of mentorship because that's what you need. And that's what's lacking in the world is that mentorship program. And that's what these guys at Regent are filling into the system that I feel is a huge lack from other universities, right? And then flexible learning options for working students, huge thing, because a lot of people can't afford to not work. They have families. Because again, I will say there's people on this call that are 18 years old, 19 years old, and then there's people that are in their 20s that are starting out. And yes, there are people that are wanting to be CAs that are in their 30s, 35s, 40s. There are people that have kids and have jobs already that still have the dream and desire to become a CA at that age. And they are still there and they do it and they do it. And they only do it because there's flexible learning options for working students. So where do you find all of this information out? If you're on this call and you don't know, you head over to Regent's website to gather more information. You can fill out the online inquiry form. Someone will get back to you and they'll answer any of your questions. So it's very simple. The website is very, very clean. It's very, informative for you to understand what you need to do in the program. So I want to just give you this quote. The CASA journey is not just about a qualification. It's about becoming a leader, a problem solver, and change maker in the world. So many people live in this world and we, again, don't know why we do what we do, right? When you find out why you want to be a CA, you can lead a Fortune 500 company, be the likes of NASPERS, be the likes of APSA, be the likes of RMB. You can lead these huge companies. You can be the CFO of these companies. You can be the COO of these companies. You can lead the world. You can make changes in the world. You don't only have to stick to private sector. You can go into the government sector. You can work for SARS. You can work for the municipalities. You can make change from inside if you want to really be the change maker in the world and solve problems. So again, the world is your oyster when it comes to this designation, and understanding about it is paramount. So we're going to take a few minutes. I want you guys to write down some questions. If you have any questions, if I went too fast, if you don't understand some part of the webinar that I did, I want you to ask your questions in the chat box. And if I don't know what your question is, then I'm going to refer it back to the person that's handling the chat. So let me just quickly open the chat box and see if there's any questions for you guys before we close up the webinar. I'm just trying to see, is it in the chat or is it in the Q&A? Ah, it's in the Q&A. So you drop it in the Q&A section. Okay. Okay, so the first question we have is, I don't know if you guys can see the chat, the Q&A, but it says, "Hi Dav, truly a pleasure to seek your advice. Is it better to join an articles program amidst your PGDA or at the end of PGDA? I'm currently studying, or I'm currently in third year. This question has been on my mind all the time. I'm at a crossroad whether dedicating time to PGDA or doing articles concurrently. Thank you in advance." Cool. I did chat about this, but let's talk about it, Arish. And there's a lot of people that have the same question as you. So when it comes to doing your honors, right? So when it comes to doing your honors and when it comes to articles, so they work hand in hand. By doing your honors and working, the stuff that you learn while working can help you in your PGDA, right? So the stuff that you're doing in your auditing firm, because you're going to be going into articles, so you'll be doing auditing, you'll be doing taxation, you'll obviously be doing accounting. You won't be doing a lot of management accounting. Okay. We don't specialize in management accounting when you're doing your articles. So you won't be doing a lot of management accounting, but you will be doing those three things. Those three things, those three topics, auditing, accounting, and taxation, can help you with your PGDA. Now, it's a very specific question that you need to ask yourself is, can you balance the time of working and studying? I always tell people, if you can, go for it, because you basically cutting down your years of becoming a CA by an entire year if you can do it. Now, I do know that so I do know the Big Four, which is basically Deloitte. Oh, I don't know what they are now. Deloitte, PwC, Ernst & Young. I don't know what the fourth one is. I know it's still KPMG or not, but let's say KPMG, GT, BDO, and PKF. I know some of them don't allow you to actually do that. I know they don't allow you to do your articles and do honors. They want you to come from honors and go straight into articles. That's, I know, a certain prerequisite. When I worked at Deloitte, that was a prerequisite. You weren't allowed to come into Deloitte without honors. That was, that was a non-negotiable. So if that answers your question, I hope it does. But for me, I did it. It's difficult, but if you have the ability to do it, I would say do it. But if you're someone that needs to spend a significant amount of time studying, then you can still do it part-time, but do it full-time, part-time, if you know what I mean, right? Okay. Next question. Hi, I hope that you're well. I just want to know if there's a possibility to do articles and then do post-grad. You can't. So a prerequisite to do articles is to register for post-grad, right? So you can have your third year, so you can have your 3-year degree done, but a prerequisite to when you sign your articles contract, it states in your contract that you need to continuously try and attempt to pass your honors. It's also a psycha requirement that you continuously attempt to do this in your 3-year program. So you can't do your articles without studying and then do your postgrad. Christian says, can I do my articles part-time? Yes, you can do your, oh no, can I do my articles part-time? No, your articles is full-time. So you can't do articles part-time. Articles is a job. So basically it's your internship and you're going to work a normal job. So you're going to work 8 to 5, 8 to 4, 8, 9 to 5, whatever it is on audit. You can't do articles part-time. You can study part-time and do articles full-time, but you can't do articles part-time. Hi there. Suppose there are questions we have for you later down the line. Is there a specific social media handle that we can reach you on? Thanks. So if you need a specific question, the Regent Business School social media handle on Instagram, you can just search Regent Business School. If you need a specific question, you need to ask me. My Instagram handle, you just type my name, Davron Chanderdeo. It should come up, Davron Talks. That is my Instagram handle. You can get me there. When are the board exams supposed to be written? So board exams are written in January. So board one is written in January every year. Okay. And if you fail that, you can rewrite it in June every year. Right. So that's board one. Board two is usually around November each year, end of November each year. So that's board two. Unfortunately, board two, you can only write that in November each year. They don't have a rewrite in the middle of the year like board one. Good evening and thank you for the way. I want to ask if my BCom accounting degree is not psycha registered, can I still do articles? Unfortunately, you cannot do articles. Your degree has to be psycha accredited. So make sure that your BCom accounting degree is psycha accredited. That's the only way you can do articles. I'm 27, about to start my first year. I'm about to start first year. However, I'm in the military, basically a soldier. How will I do articles? Do I sign a tripartite agreement with my job and an audit firm? How can I manage the challenge? Peter, I am not sure on the stipulation of you in the military and how long your actual contract is in the military. When you say you're about to start first year, is that first year in articles or is that first year in campus, part-time? I'm not sure. So if you can just reply to that. Um, Okay. I want to know in terms of articles, is it purely an internship or would you get paid for your time? I personally am planning on working while doing my degree so I can afford to pay for both my studies and my lifestyle. So I wouldn't know if I'd be able to do a full time. Yes, you get paid. So articles, you get paid. It is a job. You serve your job and each year you get, and every month you get paid. It is a normal job. You get paid for it. And that's why people do it part-time as well, right? Um, Hi, Devon. Kindly advise, I completed my degree 5 years ago, attempted postgrad with UNISA and not passed. Since 5 years has passed, do you advise doing the bridging course before attempting postgrad again? My advice to you is to email SAICA, okay? Explain to them or give them a call and explain this exact same situation to them and say, hey, these are what I passed. These are my qualifications that I have. These are the credits that I have. What do I need to do now? Can I just go into a program, okay, to do I need to do the bridging course or can I go straight into, you say your third year, hey, my degree 5 years ago. So whatever you didn't finish off, right? You can just start again. And if those credits are still, rolled forward, you can also reach out to the Regent support team. They would maybe assist you on, you send them what your transcript was or what credits you have, and they can actually advise you and say, hey, this is what you actually are accredited for, and they can actually help you to say, okay, this is where you need to start, and this is where you can actually go towards, right? Can I do my BCom and PGDA? Can I do my BCom and my PGDA, and then after a year or two, do my articles, or do I have to do articles directly after PGDA? No, you don't have to do it directly after PGDA. You can do your articles after a few years. That's fine. But you need to check on how long ago can you write board exam for how long is your PGDA valid for you to write board exam, board one. So that's what you need to figure out. So if you can get the timeline of how long board exam prerequisite is for your PGDA, then you might not be able, then you can do your articles whenever you want. Peter John, okay, you're replying to me, you're saying undergraduate degree. Okay, cool. So if you're still in the military and you're doing your undergraduate degree, then and then you wrote, I'm 27, about to start my first year, however, in the military, basically a soldier. How will I do articles? Okay. So I think I think you need to first get through undergrad, then get through postgrad, and then, chat to the military. I don't know how it works in the military. I have no idea. Whether you are working full-time or whether you have a contractual term with the military, but you need to chat to them and say to them, hey, this is what I'm doing, and can you leave in 3 to 4 years? You can't do both. You can't be in the military and do articles. You're never gonna and study. You're never gonna be able to do that. Okay. Excuse me. So someone says, excuse me, I'm currently studying at UKZN. Would you recommend to continue PGDA at UKZN or switch to UNISA PGDA? So again, your choice here, but excuse me, sorry. Um, Regent's got a PGDA program accredited. So if you're looking at switching from UKZN, I would look at also Regent, add that in here. The UNISA program, I don't know if they have the same support system and stuff like that, right? So if you want to look at that, then look at that. I don't know if UKZN, I do know UKZN has distance learning, but excuse me, if you want to do UNISA, look at Regent as well. Okay. Hi is the first board exam written after PGDA and is the second exam written after articles are completed or during the last year of your articles. So I did touch on this during the call, but first board exam is written as soon as you pass PGDA. So you'll pass PGDA in November, and then you write board exam in January, right? That's when you write your first board. Your second board is at the end of your third year of articles. The reason I'm asking is my company right now pays for my studies, so I need to serve 2 years before I can leave to do my articles. Yeah. So you can do it. Yeah. As long as you call, Christian, as long as you call Saika and ask them about the board one prerequisite, if you can have a 2-year-old PGDA, then you can do it. Charles says, what is the difference between CASA and AGASA? AGASA? I don't know what's an AGASA. I know what's an ACCA. Counting, I don't know what's an AGA. Is that an auditor? Let me just Google it quickly. AGASA. Associate General Accountant. Okay. What is the difference between associate? Okay. I honestly don't know what an associate general accountant is. Maybe they didn't become a CA and they just decided to become an AGASA. I think it's someone, oh, I think I do know. Sorry. I think it's someone that has completed their articles, but have not completed becoming a CA. So they are allowed to be an AGASA. Yes, I do know that there. So you have to complete your articles. You can, once you become an AGASA, you can sign off financial statements on the compliance level, right? So you can sign off compliance level financial statements, but you can't sign off any opinions. That's what I do know. How important is VAC work for third-year students and how to find and apply for them? To be honest with you, it's not that important. I'm going to be very serious. It's not important. VAC work, what you do as a vacation student when you come to articles is you just basically hang around at the work and you don't really do much. So to me, it's if you want to and you want to learn and you want to see how the culture is at different firms, and if you want to see what it is like to be in the chartered accountant environment, then do it. But if you sit and you know, okay, I want to be a CA, whether the VAC work is for me or not for me, then I wouldn't do it. But if you're on the fence and you're like, I want to know what it is to be a CA, still, and you don't know, so then I'd say, go for it. How do you apply for them? So you just basically go onto the company's websites and you apply for the VAC work programs. What is the difference between TIP and TOP, and which do you recommend? So TIP is training in practice, and TOP is training outside of practice, right? So training in practice, which is TIP, is basically auditing. So you train in practice, and then training outside of practice is when you say, I don't want to be a Sorry about that. Training outside of practice is when you say, I don't want to be a CA in the auditing environment. I want to actually study in like a banking industry. I want to specialize in banking or want to specialize in, so I know top programs are like Bidvest and stuff like that. They basically allow you to do a top program. The banks allow you, like Standard Bank, FNB, they all have top programs where you can do your top articles in them. Which do I recommend? Is the TIP program. Reason being is the top program, you don't get exposure to what we get access to in the TIP program, right? I'm pretty sure if you saw the slide where I spoke about all the different levels of opportunities you can get access to, so auditing, FM, lecturing, all of that stuff. When you become the top program, you don't get access to all of that because you don't have the experience. Okay, so do firms consider second year marks when applying for articles? If my marks were significantly improved in my third year, would my second year results be relevant? So how does the firm application process work? It's very simple. You can get a training contract in your first year if you want. You can sign on the dotted line, but there are specific requirements that you just need to pass honors and then, or you need to pass 30 or pass honors, and then your training program starts. So what your marks are generally are, a reflection of what contract you're going to get or who you're going to get it with. So if your marks are pretty bad in your second year, and you're improving on them in your third year, then I would, apply with my third year results to it. Okay, there we go. Which will be more beneficial, CASA or ACCA? Um, Let me see here. And then what are some important things to consider when doing interviews for applying for articles? What are some important things to consider when doing interviews for applying for articles? Sure. I haven't done an interview for articles in a long time, but to be honest with you, interview tips is very simple. Be yourself, be very confident when you go into those interviews. Understand, number one, the company you're going to work for, because they're going to ask you why you want to work at this company, why you want to work at Deloitte, why you want to work at EY, why you want to work at PKF. So you need to understand that. They're not going to ask you anything technical, so you don't have to worry about that. They know you're a trainee. They know you don't know anything about the real world. They know that you are coming there for specifically a training program or for a training contract. So as long as you're able to articulate yourself really well, as long as you're able to, show that you are confident, because remember, these are the traits they're looking for, because as an articles clerk or the articles trainees, you deal with clients a lot. You deal with a lot of client-facing individuals. So their reputation is on the line when they hire you. So you've got to be a very professional human being, if I'd like to call it that. So that's what I would say is when you go in for these interviews, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for someone that they can trust when they go into your client-facing roles. In your opinion, what type of person would best cope as a registered auditor? Okay. So what type of person would best cope as a registered auditor? I would say someone that really and truly has the heart to train people, because a registered auditor, let's sum it up really quickly, right? So when you're a partner at an audit firm, yes, you have a huge amount of responsibility to the clients that you service in terms of doing the best of your ability to service these clients for their financial statements and the service that you provide them in your audit or the taxation work that you're providing them, number one, but also in teaching and training the next level of when I was in articles, some people were not born to be auditors, right? Some people were not born to be partners because they didn't train people, they didn't mentor people. And if you have that ability, and if you are the type of person that says, "Hey, I like to mentor people, and I will train them, I will teach them what I know, and I will set them free into this world, and let's see what they become," that is your service to humanity. That is the person that will become a registered auditor. Now, that's the person that will actually be a partner at an audit firm, if you get what I'm saying. You have two parts: servicing clients, servicing your fellow CASAs that are coming up in the ranks, right? That's the type of person that would cope best as a registered auditor. That is besides you having determination, grit, working ridiculous amounts of hours as a partner, stuff like that, because that's all part and parcel of the job. I hope you're well. I just finished my matric and I'm curious about what a typical day in a life of a CA looks like. What kind of soft skills would be helpful to have? Okay, so in your articles, a day in your life as your CA is you are going to be allocated clients, right? So you're basically going to go out, you're gonna hardly be at the office. You're going to always be working at clients. And the soft skills that you need are communication, right? Because you need to be able to communicate with the client. When you get to their offices every day, you need to be able to communicate with them, communicate with their staff, communicate via email on the things you require. That's the first set of soft skills you'll need. And then you'll also, as you grow into your role as a CA, because in your first year, you become a second year. And when you're a second year, it's your responsibility to train your first year on everything that you learned in first year. And then when you're in your third year, you need to take charge of the entire team and help the first year and the second year on things that you don't know. So it's a very team-driven job. if you know what I'm saying. It's very team driven roles that you get access to. So you get access to like a manager, but the manager's job is to manage multiple audits at the same time, while you as a trainee, you will have to help each other out on the day-to-day work. What else would I say is the soft skills that you need to have that will be helpful in the day-to-day life of a CA? I think that is probably the biggest is your communication, but also your willingness to help each other, okay, and your willingness to learn. I think that's a huge thing when you going into articles, willingness to learn, because if you don't have an open mind and you're going to articles and you say, "Oh, I'm just gonna go through the next 3 years and just do my job," you're gonna probably be the worst CA, if not even qualify, right? So let's figure that out. Let's you start with that as your mindset as well. Um, Hi, Darren Trustwell. Could you please repeat the firm application process with regards to university results? I don't know what that means. Could you please repeat the firm application process with regards to university results? Okay, I don't know what that means. Maybe the region support can chat to you with regards to that, right? They'll chat to you about that. Hi, I'm about to start my first year in BCom general degree, as I'm not sure if accounting is my passion. I can branch into accounting in my second year if my first year results maintains a 75% average. Will I be hindered in any way from people who start BCom accounting as from the first year? No, I don't think you would. All BCom accounting degrees probably start with the basics of BCom. So they all have the same levels of, first year courses. So from your maths, your stats, your digital courses, your accounting, it should be the same level as well. So you only start to specialize when you go into second year and then third year. So you should be completely fine. When applying for articles, do firms consider second year results if third year results improved? When applying for articles, do firms consider second year results if the third year results improved? I think they're just going to consider your most latest results if that's what you submit to them. But if you're submitting both results, they're obviously going to look at it. But again, your results are, how do I put this for you? Your training contract is just a contract that secures you a job. You still got to pass. And the only thing that matters to them is that you pass, right? I understand that getting the training contract might be difficult, but they are not concerned with whether you are like passing with like, let's say 99 or 95, or whether you're passing 70s or whether you're passing 60s. Because at the end of the day, when you pass your third year, when you pass your PGDA, you qualified. You've already qualified. You've attained the degree and you've attained the PGDA. So for them, that is a huge step in the psycha development program that they are involved in. Okay, so I think that's the last question. All right, cool. I think that's the last question. Yeah, so guys, I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for everyone that joined the webinar today. Again, if you have any questions, just drop Regent Business School a message on their Instagram pages, their Facebook pages, or just go onto their website. Drop them a message. They're more than happy to chat to you, help you out on this journey, whatever you don't understand, right? Again, from me to you, I wish you all the best in whatever you're doing and whatever path that you take in your career going forward. And if you need any help, just drop me a message on Instagram, drop me a message if you need anything. I'm more than happy to help you. From me to you, take care, guys. All the best and good night.